Hey, what is going on, guys? Pineapple Sway here, and today I'm going to be talking about DC games and sort of their future. I don't really know what to title this video, and I didn't really know what to call it. It seems like DC hasn't really learned their lesson, and in case you guys don't know what I'm talking about, it seems like we will be getting more live service games to come in the future from DC. Now, let me explain. So obviously we got Suicide Squad, which was live service, and in case you guys do not know this, Gotham Knights was also meant to be live service, but they ended up deciding to make Kill the Justice League a live service game, and that game ultimately flopped. We all know that. There's no and ifs or buts. There's no defending it. That game flopped, and it was a live service bomb. But the problem is, it seems like WB Montreal is confirmed to now be working on a live service game, which I've talked about this before. I brought up the idea of maybe it could be Gotham Knights 2, which may not be possible since, they had some other ideas scrapped. And I know someone mentioned how Gotham Knights 2 is probably scrapped as well. There's no denying that. But it's weird to me that WB hasn't really seemed to learn. And I think the problem is they're seeing Marvel right now and their success with Marvel Rivals. There's even a rumor going around that, DC is looking to copy Marvel Rivals. I've also made a video about this, which we could only assume would be live service. Now, the issue with DC, which I don't think they seem to understand when it comes to live service, a live service game can work and can be good. I just feel like the best way, in my opinion, for it to be good is it has to be free to play. When you're making a paid live service game, you're paying for something that you may not even really like for Suicide Squad. Like, you're paying for something that isn't finished. You're paying for stuff that's incomplete. Like, the big issue with Kill the Justice League was, the game was incomplete, and we were promised all of these seasons and all of this content, and we only got a fourth of, Kill the Justice League's original slate. I've mentioned this in videos time and time again. Rocksteady had 3 years of content planned, possibly even a fourth year of content planned for this game. Planned and finished, not just planned and in the works. It was planned and finished. I can confirm that. And we only got 8 months of story. And we all know too that the original game was meant to have 6 seasons and we only got 4. And now here we are, and the problem is you already got to dedicate $70 to $100 to buy the game, if it's a paid live service game, and you're paying for something that's unfinished. And that's another problem too, is Marvel learned their lesson from Marvel's Avengers. Say what you will about Marvel's Avengers, I actually did enjoy Marvel's Avengers, but it had the same issue as Kill the Justice League. I think Kill the Justice League did a few things better, but Marvel's Avengers also did some other things too that, Kill the Justice League didn't do well. And the problem with Marvel's Avengers is it really had the same exact problem as Kill the Justice League. We're spending $70 to $100 for this game, and it's incomplete. It's not finished. We have to wait a long time just to see the story play out, and then half the time you don't even see it play out. But back to what I was saying. Free to play seems to be the right move, and with WB Montreal's next game being live service, I don't foresee it being free to play. I see them falling right down the rabbit hole of just being stuck and nowhere to go when it comes to these live service games. And I love DC, and it just pains me to see them wasting all of their IPs, wasting all of their ideas, wasting all of their talented development teams that are under them for just stupid games. And not saying that Kill the Justice League is stupid, but it's just man, you could give us a ton of solo single player experiences that don't have to be live service. That can just be a 15 to 20 hour game. For example, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Marvel's Spider-Man, Marvel's Spider-Man, Miles Morales. Those games aren't live service. And although Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is definitely a step back, there's no denying that, those are incredible games. Why can't we get games like that every 2 years? Instead, we're getting live service slop, and there's just no other way to put it. And although I do love Marvel Rivals, I have a lot of issues and problems with Marvel Rivals, and I don't really want to see DC copy them. If anything, let Marvel Rivals have, the live service genre, while in terms of single player story-based experiences, DC should be all over that, because I think fans desperately want a single player a single player solo experience, because there's really nothing out there right now. There's nothing. You know, we're waiting for Marvel's Wolverine. That could be the next big thing in terms of single player, story based. And then Rocksteady's Batman game. I know Batman Arkham Shadows is in development, but I don't really count Arkham Shadow because it's VR. So not a lot of people are going to play that. It's very niche. But there really just isn't much out. And it just seems like DC is continuing to waste in their potential and just showing that they're just out of touch with reality. Because we have asked over and over and begged over and over to stop making live service games. Just go back to what they were known for back in like 2010s, early 2015, when we had Batman Arkham City, Batman Arkham Knight, and some other games that I can't think off the top of my head. It just seems like every company now is just trying to get a quick buck, and if it fails, it fails. They'll just make some other slop. And no disrespect to WB Montreal, I think they did tremendous work with Batman Arkham Origins. I think they did okay with Gotham Knights, and it seems like they're already kind of digging themselves a hole because they're making a live service game. If this game's free to play, then I'll eat my words, but I don't foresee that. I don't see WB Montreal making a free to play live service experience. It just doesn't seem plausible. I see them replicating the exact same steps as Rocksteady, making a live service game, giving us a promise of 1 year of content, but with multiple years and a future of the game, and then it ends up just getting shut down and canceled. And DC will continue to go down that train, and when in reality, like what I said, they need to just go back to what worked. And this is what I don't understand. Why don't they go back to what works? It doesn't make any sense. I don't understand the management at WB who makes the final say in the ultimate decisions of what should happen, what doesn't happen. It just doesn't make any sense. And I know they just see Marvel continue to win. Marvel won with Marvel Rivals. There's no denying that. But eventually, Marvel Rivals will come to pass. There's no denying that. And the problem, too, is DC, they've been trying to move on into the mobile games realm, but they kind of, stunk it up with DC Dark Legion. And then DC Worlds Collide is okay, though, I will say. And, DC, they even promised that their main focus of games were going to be mobile games and Batman. And they're delivering that promise with Batman soon, because Batman's getting, I think, 3 games. Like, there's even a rumor now of another Batman game that's not made by Rocksteady. I don't really know how much truth it holds, but, here we are. And then Batman is getting just a ton of stuff, a ton of content. When in reality, all we've really asked for as fans is just spread the wealth when it comes to DC lore and characters, but don't make them live service. Like, we were fine with Gotham Knights, and, Gotham Knights is generally perceived to be just an okay game. And then people were fine with Kill the Justice League when that hype was originally building, but as soon as people found out that that game was going to be live service and that you had to pay for it, the hype just completely died, and it's just kind of where we stand. I don't understand exactly what their plan is and what the next steps are for WB. I just want to see them make good games again, and that seems like something that's impossible to achieve, especially with what they're doing. But like what I said, if they replicate Marvel Rivals' success with DC Rivals, whatever they're gonna call it, then maybe I'll look back at this video and say, hey, I was wrong. But I don't see that. I don't see WB replicating that success, and I don't see them doing well with that, because honestly, if they do make DC Rivals, it's really just going to be a Batman game with Batman characters. And I know that kind of sounds stupid to say, but I'm not wrong. It's going to be full of Batman characters. They're probably not even going to explore like DC and give us interesting and unique characters. In like Marvel Rivals, we have some interesting and unique characters in that game that don't really get a lot of love or light in Marvel. Like Blade, for example, is incredible. The X-Men, glad to see them getting love in Marvel Rivals. And then I can't think of like Angela, like that's a complete shout out. That's a character that hasn't even made any appearances in the movie. While like DC Rivals, in all honesty, like we're gonna get Joker, Harley, Batman, the Bat Family, and then like just Batman characters, Bane, Two-Face, etc., etc., etc. When it could, go crazy, give us, the Justice League, like characters from Justice League Unlimited, like Cyborg, Supergirl, or I'm just kind of naming like popular characters now, but you guys get what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm just kind of on a yap sesh now, but What do you guys think? Do you guys think DC will ever find success when it comes to live service? I don't see it. Does that make me a D1 hater? Maybe, but you know, they stunk the bed with Kill the Justice League, and I don't see them replicating that success. And even if, you know, a small if they replicate the success and copy Marvel Rivals, I don't see it being a long-term thing, because DC is pretty good when it comes to fumbling the bag with stuff. You know, just give us what the fans want, and the fans been asking for. We've been wanting a Superman game. We've been wanting Batman Beyond. It's that simple. But anyways, though, this is Pineapple Sway. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think live service is the right move for DC in the future? Obviously, it's not, but, you know, I love to hear opinions. Maybe there's someone out there that thinks this is the right step, and that's what makes, you know, YouTube fun, because we get to share all of our opinions and still just have a fun time and a good time at the end of the day. Anyways, though, this is Pineapple Sway. Peace.